And then suddenly she started to say to my friend, the live review is real. Tell Ingrid that the live review is real. So we were so surprised because we were not, again, like asking about this or thinking about this. And my mom was very reluctant in repeatedly telling me that, pretty much like, watch out, watch your actions, because the live review is something very real.
After my life review, I realized what I've done to the full extent in such a way that I felt, just like Ingrid said, I felt her pain, her frustration, what I have done to her prom night. That's an event that happened only once in a lifetime. And I felt so remorse, so guilty that I want to make amends. I am already 64, she's about the same age. And I'm ready to call her, and I'm trying to find out as we speak, um, where can I find her? Because I want to apologize for real this time.
Why do I want to do this? Because for me, doing the right thing according to my principles, my morals, for everything, is giving me a peace of mind. And knowing that that boomerang I'm sending, I will receive it back, maybe in another way. Maybe somebody else is going to send it to me. But I know that whatever I send to somebody, I will get it back. Or maybe not only me, my children, my grandchildren, but somebody will get everything that we do out of love will be returned with love too.
Welcome or welcome back to a new session of In Dying, I Begin to Live. Today, first of all, my name is Francisco Valentin.
I'm Ana Cecilia Gonzalez.
And here, Ingrid Honkala.
Welcome. Uh, I'm sorry, this subject is so intense that I just wanted to start right over. And it's one of the many questions that we have been receiving from the audience. And this question is there a life review? Will we be judged? My quick answer, is there a life review? Yes. Will we be judged? Yes and no. Let me explain. Uh, a life review based on our religious beliefs, and that's something that we have to respect from each one of us, is that we have been taught that a life review is something that happens when you die, and then someone is going to go over with you through all the good, the bad, and the ugly that you have done throughout your life. And after that review, you're going to be judged, either you go to heaven, hell, or the purgatory. That's what I was taught when I was born and raised as a Catholic. And that was the understanding I had until the day I died on July 7th, on one summer day, 1979. But I was too young to understand. Through the years, I understood, and through my lifetime experiences, while I was being trained to become eventually the channeler for the collective forces of knowledge and wisdom, that there's no such thing as a life review by someone who's going to be over your shoulder giving you whatever you've done in your life, and then you're going to be judged. A life review doesn't necessarily have to happen when you die. I have my own personal experience of live reviews that I want to share with you later on today as we pass the baton to my other good friends. And the one who is going to be judging you is going to be yourself. Uh, but I want to ask that same question to Ana Cecilia. Ana Cecilia, is there a live review?
Yes, Francisco, there is.
Will we be judged?
Just like you said, yes, I would answer yes, but by us. So this is a
Go
very,
ahead.
very, very interesting question and topic we're talking about today, because this is like Francisco said, which we usually, the way we were raised, at least the way I was raised, is like there's going to be this man, when many of us say God, or there's going to be judge that's going to come and say, what kind of a life did you have? And many of the things we do or stop doing are accordingly to the way we think we're going to be judged. And one of the things I've understood, very similar to what Francisco is saying, is that yes, there definitely will be a life review, but it's us that are going to do that life review, because I do believe that just look at us, just look at it that this way. Anytime you are doing something, the first thing you do is, did I do it right? Did I do it wrong? Why did I do this? I should have done this or that. So you're constantly judging yourself. But the thing here, and this is a topic I really want to share a little later, is how are we judging ourselves? And how fast or how late are we waiting to do this live review? And why wait until we die? If we can start making this life right now being a better life, giving the best out of ourselves. And yes, I definitely believe we are going to be judged by ourselves, our doings, and that's the way we will do our life review. But I also want to ask my friend Ingrid. Ingrid, is there a life review?
Yes, definitely yes.
Will we be judged? What do you think?
I'm thinking exactly the same way you guys are thinking and the way you have experienced it, because I experienced it too. Yes, we will be judged by our own judgment, our own consciousness, our own level of understanding that we have about the actions that we have done.
Yes.
So it's like we take full responsibility, and that
There you
is
go.
the part that I want to talk a little bit about. But first, I want to share an experience that I had with my mom regarding this subject of if there is live review. And what happened is that she passed in 2020. And then after her passing, I got together with a very good friend of mine that she's an amazing, amazing medium. And we were just conversing and thinking, I was sharing with her about my mom. And then my mom communicated with my friend, the medium, and she started to pass a message. We were not even thinking about this. We were not asking about this subject, none of these. And then suddenly she started to said to my friend, the live review is real. Tell Ingrid that the live review is real. So we were so surprised because we were not, again, like asking about this or thinking about this. And my mom was very reluctant in repeatedly telling me that pretty much like, watch out, watch your actions, because the live review is something very real. And regarding to the part when we answering the question is if we will be judged, like we all of us answer yes, we will be judged by ourselves. But many people, and I have heard this, like, okay, if there's nobody judging me, if nobody is there to judge me, so who cares if I do wrong? Who cares what I do if I don't have to respond to anybody? Guess what? Wow, the answer to that based in the experiences that many people that have had near their experiences, some others that we have had live reviews without also having to have a near death experience, and um, just the people in general that through mystical experiences have had this live review will bring to you the clarity that everything you have done to others, you will feel it. You will feel it in the full of it. Even I think they said that you actually feel it like two, three, 10 times fold. It's like if you hurt somebody, every tear, every moment of disconnection, every moment of harming anybody, every moment in which you have not been a being of love, you will feel the harm you cause to others, and you will feel that harm 10 times fold. And so imagine you don't need anybody to judge you. You will be the witness and you will feel the pain you cause to others. And we will continue talking because, yeah, as you feel the pain of others, you will also feel the good that you did in throughout your life too. I don't know if Francisco, you have heard of this or you have had similar experiences regarding to this that I just shared.
Oh yes, I have plenty of those that I can share with the audience. But let me start with one particular moment, which was the first time I experienced a live review while alive.
Oh,
And
mhm.
for those who don't know my story, I died in 1979. Then I had a lifetime of experiences that led me to having been contacted by a Spirit of Light on July 7, 2011, to remind me of an agreement that I made in return for my life. And after that Spirit of Light finished delivering the message, he granted me what I learned to call higher truth. And that's when I start having a live review. But the live review was not to point out the good, the bad, and the ugly that I've done in my life, but to make me conscious of what have transpired throughout my lifetime. And that's when I realized that in 1979, yes, I indeed died, but I didn't see it because I was too young. That in the year 2000, my mother died, and it was a learning experience to learn that there is divine intervention, but I didn't see it at the time. That in the year 2002, I had a near death experience myself, but I didn't see it either because I believed the medical field, plus a prophecy that took place in 2010. Now, let me explain. The way I realized all that happening was because at the present time, I was the doer. And as the doer, I was the actor. And as the actor, I was looking at what my perceptive mind understood of what was happening based on my preconceived ideas and stick with what I saw. But when I had that live review, I was no longer the doer, but the observer. And as the observers, I was being able to see the whole thing, the whole picture. I could see how I died. I could see how my mother died to learn that there was divine intervention. I realized that I had a near death experience, and then later on, a prophecy was given to me. So those things happened, but I didn't see it because I was too involved in this earth plane. And as that door opened, I realized of the so many things that happened throughout my life that took me to where I was. And to me, that was a heck of a life review while I was alive. And it wasn't a matter of being judged. It was a matter that I wasn't being judged. I was realizing at that moment what had transpired. And I was able to understand and then make a decision, in this case, pursuing what was what later became my second chapter in my life, which was to become a channeler. I can talk more about that, but I want to give Ana Cecilia a chance to tell you more stories, because I have more stories to come.
Yes, I think this is just an amazing topic, Francisco. I'm really excited about everything that we're sharing. And one of the things I wanted to say is that I think probably because you reminded me of this because of my physical situation, but by being born with such a critical heart condition, I think I've had many life reviews in my life. And those precisely start when we are in a very critical situation. And I just want everybody to relate with this. Just imagine that you are about to die because you're very sick, because or your mother, or isn't that a moment when you just want to go over everything and want to make sure that you did the right thing, and you want to make over with everybody and like try to solve everything you didn't do good? And I'm asking, don't we do all of us life reviews constantly? But sometimes it's when you're under a lot of stress, or when you're under danger, or when you feel like maybe you're going to die, that you feel it's an urgency to do it. Well, one of the things I really want to invite you is to make this a habit. Because do you know how is it that you're going to end your life? How your life review will be if you believe there's going to be a life review afterwards? It's going to be exactly what you live in this life. Because nobody can deny you less than anybody what you've done. And being responsible of what we did is something we will do, yes or yes, when we pass. And I want to share this. For me, life is like a boomerang. Anything you throw out to life, it will be returned to you. So what is it that you're giving out? And let me tell you something, you don't need for anybody to come and tell you what you did. You better than anybody knows. If you give in love, you will receive love without a doubt. Anything you've given out, that's what, just like Ingrid said, that's what you will be giving out. So these live reviews that we're talking about, I do believe this is like, just imagine if I do believe in God, and I don't want to get into that topic, but if just imagine you as a judge of your own children. How would you judge your own children if there was somebody that would judge you? The first thing you want them to do is to be responsible of what they did. So you want them to analyze. Okay, tell me, what is it that you did and what was wrong? Wouldn't you do that with your own son? Well, that's exactly where we're going to get. You are the one that, if you really love yourself enough and really value yourself enough, you're going to know that if there's things you did out of love, you're going to know it. And if there's things that you didn't do out of love and you were probably angry or did things that you didn't like, you're definitely going to know. And this review, you will have it on your mind. So why don't we start doing it now? Why don't we start doing it right away? Maybe at nights, maybe through meditation, maybe through prayer. But this is something I invite you, because this is only, like Ingrid was saying, to raise your awareness, to raise your vibration, and to make out of this life the best possible. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful, because again and again is about, as you both, as we all agree, is about taking responsibility of our own actions.
Actions.
Yeah, we don't have to wait for others. Oh, and believe me, others will punish us too. We are not being honest. To some challenge, some other person, things will come. And I love this biblical, or this scripture that I'm just not sure if I'm saying it the exact way, but it says something in the ways that with the ruler or with the tape you measure others, you will be measured.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's always about not just what I am doing, but the sense of like I am responsible for each one of my doings. And this also bring me to remember a very beautiful teaching I received from the beings of light. They said to me, Ingrid, live your life in a way that you will not need a life review.
Right.
And I thought that this was amazing. What about a step by step, moment by moment, I'm becoming responsible of my actions. It's all about being present. Imagine if I am so present that I know what I am doing moment by moment, that I am learning to pause, that I'm learning to be an observer of myself, that I am accessing the place of wisdom, that I am responding instead of reacting, then what is to review? Or we could say I'm reviewing my life moment by moment. So it's living a life from the place of awareness. And that doesn't mean that we don't make mistakes. Of course we do. And I'm not going to say, oh my God, I live my life in a way that I'm present 24/7, because I'll be lying. No, but this also means that maybe at the end of the day, or the end of the week, or after certain action, I am able to say, I did wrong, or I wronged someone else. How can I correct this? How can I correct myself? And it's not about living a life of regret or a life of guilt. Is using, is our moral compass, is using my capacity to realize I did wrong. Oh, yeah, I feel guilty, but not stay in the guilt and become a victim of it, but use it as a way to create change. How can I become a better person? Or how can I resolve what I did to this other person? Is it a matter of asking forgiveness, or is it a matter of creating a change for that person, or what I'm doing to be better? So it's just be vigilant of yourself and become present and an observer of your own actions. That's
Yes, yes.
Actually, Ingrid, that's a very, very, very powerful message. Live your life in such a way that you will not need a live review. However,
all right.
we we are so many that we have done, including myself, so many mistakes and so many errors that that you have to. All we can do is stop the bleeding, cut our losses, and try to make amends.
Yeah.
And by that, I want to bring a story that happened to me that I want to share with you. Uh, when I got my live review, I began to internalize a lot of things that I've done in the past, things that I'm not proud of. And just let me give you just one example. Uh, in my youth, uh, I was going to attend our senior prom dance, and we were a small group, and I was the only one who didn't have a partner. So I was introduced to this young lady, uh, to for me to be her partner, and we went to the prom night. But because I was so involved with my group of people, I just spent more time with my group of people than with my dancing partner. And because I was so young, I mean, I just had fun. And once in a blue moon, I went over there, danced a little bit, and then went back to my group. And I didn't realize what I was doing. Many years later, I met this lady, and she questioned me, why did I do that? And at that time, I felt remorse. And I told her, I'm sorry, I was young and stupid, and I didn't know what I was doing. I hope you uh, forgive me for what I've done. And she kind of forgave me, but not really, because later on I tried to go out with her and she declined my invitations. After my life review, after 2011, and after I start getting live reviews, I realized what I've done. to the full extent, in such a way that I felt, just like Ingrid said, I felt her pain, her frustration, what I have done to her prom night. That's an event that happened only once in a lifetime. And I felt so remorse, so guilty that I want to make amends. I am already 64, she's about the same age. And I'm ready to call her, and I'm trying to find out as we speak, um, where can I find her? Because I want to apologize for real this time. Not the apology that I gave her many, many years ago, but the truth from my heart. Because I want to take that thorn out of my chest. Because I want to make amends. Because I don't know how much harm I may have done unknowingly to her. And I don't know if she still feels some resentment. And I want to free her from that possible resentment and clear my soul from my wrongdoing.
Mm.
That's just one of many examples that you can see on your own, that you know that you have to work with, because whatever you don't do in this earth, you're gonna get a life review, and it's not gonna be by somebody else. It's gonna be like me. I did it to myself. I made that realization myself, and I am judging myself by making amends because I know that I need to do it. So that's one of my many stories. Go
Wow.
ahead, Anna.
Wow, that's amazing.
Wow, Francisco, thank you for sharing that. The what you're saying now brings me to this story of when I remember how important it is. Sometimes I hope you find this woman. That would be the best. But
I'll let you
sometimes,
know.
Yeah, yeah.
please let
Maybe
us
you want
know.
to
We all
details.
want to know. We all want to know because sometimes, I think that sometimes the love you give back to somebody, you're not always going to get things from the same place you, how do you say that you rip and you saw? It's not always going to be in the same place. But one
Mm,
thing is for sure, that if you forgive that love or that forgiveness or that remorse that you have, if you give it back in somebody else with some other actions,
mm,
definitely she will get it one way or another. And one of
Yes.
the things I do remember when I was going through my near death experience, the only thing I remember I saw in that space was love. And and I went through many stages. Many of you must have seen my video, and otherwise I invite you to look at it. But I went through many stages where the only thing I was doing is wherever my concentration, where I placed my attention, I could go back to that moment. So I saw my parents, I saw my daughter, I saw my siblings. But one thing I knew is that I everything around me was full of love, absolute love. And one thing that I understood when I came back of that death, because I was gone for several minutes and then came back, is that the most important conversation you could have with someone is with yourself. That
mm,
is the best conversation you can have with anybody. And what Francisco is sharing, what Ingrid is sharing, is this self review of what have I done? What did I do? What didn't I do? Am I happy with my life? That is something very genuine, very, very positive to do. Just take care of your actions. And but one of the things I learned is to do it with love, because in that moment, what Francisco shared, I'm absolutely convinced that he was, of course, a very young guy. He was not thinking about harming anybody. And youth sometimes makes us brave and we think we can do whatever we want. And then we say, wait a minute, that was not right. But but the thing is that if we love ourselves enough, we would know that we were not only be kind with ourselves, just like God would be with us, but we would forgive ourselves and know that anything we had done without the intention genuinely of harming somebody, it's definitely a cause of circumstances or whatever, but that doesn't mean we are still not going to feel what we did. And that's one of the most important things. So I would say, just like Ingrid was saying, why don't we try to live a life? And this is a quote I want to share with you. I've always said this. I want that when death finds me, because one day I will have to die. I haven't died. I've been not at least not gone like doctors thought since I was a little girl. But one day, physical death will find me, and I want that day for it to find me very alive and very free and very in a way that I know that I've done the best I can. Why do I want to do this? Because for me, doing the right thing according to my principles, my morals, for everything, is giving me a peace of mind and knowing that that boomerang I'm sending, I will receive it back, maybe in another way. Maybe somebody else is going to send it to me. But I know that whatever I send to somebody, I will get it back. Or maybe not only me, my children, my grandchildren, but somebody will get everything that we do out of love will be returned with love too. So well, that's something I wanted to share after my near death experience. I know that love is important for us to know that we will be judged the way we judge others. Why don't we start with love with ourselves? That will make a difference.
Wow, that's absolutely, absolutely beautiful and absolutely truth. I would just say love life and life will love you back. It's
Right.
just like that. Yeah.
As
And
simple as that.
yes, yes. And following that line of thought, I am going to also share live review I had without having to have a near death experience, just like Francisco was sharing. I also it was in my I think early 40s when I had a live review when I was in a trip in Costa Rica, and then I went into the ocean, and then suddenly a big wave came, and I was trapped by, or I was carried by this wave into the ocean. And then I tried to come out of this wave, and another one came, and another one came, and I was just being tossed and turned into these waves. And then suddenly, thankfully, some surfers and my husband, they saw that I was in this trouble, and they got me out of the water. And then I was like, whoa. I came unharmed from this, and I am like standing at the edge with my feet in the water on the beach. And then I'm just looking at the horizon, thinking about what just happened. And then I realized that throughout the whole experience, I never experienced fear. I was completely free from fear. And then at that moment, I felt the sense that, wow, I can face whatever is coming to my life. I can face anything. That was the feeling I felt. And then watch what you are feeling, because that night, I guess I said, I'm here to face anything. That night, I went to sleep. And then when I closed my eyes, I started to have a live review. And I started to see like pictures, like clear, with clarity, things that I have done in my life and experience that pain that we're talking about that I have caused to others. But the beautiful thing of all that was when we reached the part, or I reached the part in which I also started to see all the good things, all the good deeds, all the amazing things I have done too. And not just to people, but all the good I've done to help animals and even plants. So it doesn't mean that now we think, oh my God, I cannot eat a vegetable because I'm harming plants. No, 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 it's not. It's not about that, because it's all about gratitude. It's all about intention. It's all about if an animal in need, a person in need, even if I can do something to help our environment, to help a forest, anything I can do that comes from that intention of love, from that intention of keeping balance and equilibrium and goodness, anything I do, like Anna was mentioning, from love, from the heart, counts. So one thing I do, another practice, a beautiful practice I started to do with my son from the time that he was just little, a little boy, was every time he went to bed at the end of the day, it was not about recalling all the bad things he did, like you did wrong and this in school and whatever. It was about, what about we remember all the good things that we have done. So he will go bed, and I will hug him, or I will give him just a little give something for all the good that he did. And what this does is that remembering the good, bringing the good, inspire us. It's like a little engine that we need to keep going. And if a child feels that the good that he or her is doing is being rewarded, then they want to do more good. So that's also a beautiful practice that I want to share here with you today, how we can get inspired through our good deeds.
Yes, actually, I'm making notes here because I don't want to forget various subjects that I want to bring in. Uh, one of them is the aspect of that not all the life reviews, just like you said, are bad. There are
Yeah.
many life reviews that I also got while I'm still alive, reminding myself of the many things I've done right, the many
Yeah.
good deeds, everything that I have done. And it's not to feed my ego, but to help me understand that there's a lot of good that can be done,
Yeah.
not to focus on the bad, which is unfortunately when people think about life review. Oh, all the bad that I've done. Oh man, I'm gonna be crucified.
No.
But no, no, no. There are gonna be
No.
many good things that you have done. So keep building it, so it can counteract and help you out through your life review. Uh, Now, another aspect that you talked about, Ingrid, was and Cecilia, not to judge, because the way that you're gonna be judged is the by the same length or measure that you're gonna be that you judge, you're gonna be judged,
Yeah.
which is none other than the law of cause and effect. Uh, but that's another story to tell. Uh, but that brings me to a story that I want to bring in, because I believe that through my own self experiences is when I started realizing the many things that had happened in my life, and by sharing them with you, I hope that I can help you get to memory many things that maybe you have done in the past that you may not have realized. And this had to do with judging. I remember, as part of the live reviews, when I was young, I was about 14 years old. I used to own, my dad bought me uh, a mini bike back in the 70s. Uh, and I wanted to sell that bike so I can raise money to buy me a car. So I went to my uncle, uh, for him to buy the bike from me. But the story started when my dad, not long ago, and now he's 80 something, about 5 or 10 years ago, my dad told me that he feels so ashamed and so resentful that my uncle stole my bike from me. That how he convinced me to sell the bike so he can make some money out of it. And I said, no, no, wait, you're wrong. You're wrong. I was the one who wanted to sell my bike. I am the one who offered my bike to him. He is the one who looked at you, because I have a pretty good memory. He's the one that looked at you to see if you confirm this transaction, and you actually did with the small shake of your head. So he went along with it and he bought it. But he was doing me a favor. To me, there was a life review on my father because he
Yes.
spent a whole lifetime
Mm.
thinking wrongly of that transaction. And I made him understand how wrong he was. So I want to share that with you to complement what Ingrid said. By the measure you judge, you're going to be judged. And there are going to be many times that you are going to be called upon some mistakes that you have done. And you should have the humility to understand that you were wrong. And even though you may have not done harm to anyone else, you have done harm to yourself. And as you've done harm to yourself, you may not realize, but for giving you the example of my dad, I bet you he didn't treat my uncle the same way he would have
Mm.
had he had a better understanding of what happened on that day.
Mm.
And I want to leave you with that and pass the baton to Ana Cecilia.
Oh,
Wow,
that's
Francisco,
yeah.
that really reminds me of a lot of things. And this is the first that Ingrid already mentioned it somehow. So it's like, do unto others what you want them to do to you. And
Yes.
Mhm.
sometimes we assume we know, we suppose we know things. And the fact that we do not clarify takes us precisely to that judgment. Because in our
Mm.
minds, we think we know, we think we have the information. And this takes me to this memory. When I came back after my near death experience, I had something similar with one of my boyfriends that we were young, just probably I was say 17, 18. And I said some horrible things that I then regretted because I was very hurt for what he said. He said something about my nails and because they were very deformed and he really hurt me. He was not, his intention was not to hurt me, but he did. And I said very horrible things when we broke and well, that was it for that relation. But when I came back, I had this need, and this is part of the life review we're talking about, to go and talk with a lot of people. Not because I had on purpose done damage, but because I wanted to clarify things, even ask or even question. So I remember I went to talk to him. He didn't even remember that I had even talked about that. But one thing I just remember right now with what Francisco's saying is that many years later, and this happened, this probably we broke when we were in 1982, I don't know. And when I saw him again after this, it was in 1990. So many years later, probably in the year 2000 or so, it was after I wrote my book. He read it and he contacted me. And I had forgotten all about that. And he said, I'm still remembering when you came to me because I came with a friend to his office just to say, I'm very sorry because I really said horrible things. He said, but you're such a beautiful heart. How could you ever think you were hurting me? I hurt you and I didn't even know. I'm the one that has to say I'm sorry. So, this is like what Francisco's saying, getting things into balance, talking about the love, because this was only pure love of one to another. And it was we were teenagers, but it's not the love, the romantic love I'm talking about. It's the love towards not hurting anybody, towards feeling that you might have hurt someone just because you're frowning a face or answering back to a waiter. What actions do we do that we sometimes we hurt people? But how we sometimes we're never going to meet these people again. In this case, I had my opportunity, and he even contacted me to say all the way around. I mean, there was nothing you could have done that hurt me back then, but I know I did, but I didn't know that I was hurting you so bad by saying something about your nails. After he read my book, he understood what that meant. But sometimes it's the intention. The first thing that we were starting, what Ingrid was saying, What is the intention of what we're doing? And if your intention is not precisely to do good, you're going to feel it one way or another in some moment. And one thing I also remember, when I was writing my book, I said, God, just give me a chance to anything I have to understand in this lifetime. Let me learn it fast so I really get to solve it and be able to go to this other beautiful realm I was in. So yes, this live review, we do it here. And I invite you, don't feel hesitant to, if you have anything in your mind, maybe you're not going to go and look for persons, but yes, you do your own act of, okay, I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't have, and also recognize the beauty you did to everybody. Because this boyfriend of mine, he was reminding me of everything beautiful we I gave him, and I didn't even know. So, yes, also part of our life review is just like both of my friends here have said, recognize that you are such a beautiful soul. You're a beautiful being, and your life has a purpose. That's why we're still here. And if we're still alive, it's because there's still things we have to do. Let's do them, but let's do them the best way possible with the best of love we can give. Do unto others what you want them to do to you. That's my thought.
Wow, that's an absolute truth. That's I'm
Yes.
so thrilled with our conversation today, because yes, it's like this is just the way it is. Again, like how you want to be treated, the way you treat others. And is not now later. People talk about heaven and hell. I say you make your own heaven and you make your own hell. And this is telling more of these amazing good stories. There's it also, we have to learn to let go. We have to also learn
Yes.
to let go the judgment and look for clarifications, look for trying to amend and trying to correct, because sometimes everybody has a perception of things, and people can feel hurt, or people can take a certain kind of, like you were talking, Francisco, like your dad could have been a better person with your uncle if they would have talked about it. So I want to share with you this story. This is a Buddhist Zen teaching in which there was two monks, and these two monks were walking, going from one city to another, and on their way they found a river. And now when they had to cross the river, but the water in the river was a little bit strong, the current, and there was a lady that was kind of fragile and maybe older lady, and she just was afraid to cross the river by herself. So one of the monks just grabbed the lady and put her in his bag and helped her cross the river. They crossed, the lady said thank you, and then the two monks kept walking. And the other monk was like feeling very like angry, very uh, like he was holding something. He was serious, and the one that carried the lady was wondering what is happening. And for a couple of hours, this other monk was having a very bad mood and was treating him very harshly. So he didn't understand until he asked. He asked him what is happening, and then is when he said, that in our religion, it is not allowed that women get or to touch, that the monks and the women touch each other. So, and you grab that lady and you put her in your back and you cross her the river. And at that moment, the monk said, wow, it took me 5 minutes to cross the river with that lady on my back. I left the lady behind 2 hours ago, and you still carrying this lady in your back for 2 hours or whatever, 5 hours. So
Right.
yeah, while the other one just did his deed and walk away from it, the other one was holding a resentment, was holding an idea in his head, and was carrying the lady with him for the rest of the trip. So that's what we do when we don't look for clarification, when we don't look to try to amend, when we don't look to try to resolve, then we're going to hold that, and then we're going to cause harm, and cause harm to ourselves. So it's
Right.
all about an act of love. It's all about the love that we offer to ourselves and others. And just to start closing for today, this beautiful conversation, I love this sentence that says that you will judge yourself not for the love that you give, but for the love that you didn't give. So it's always, or you will take responsibility for what you give, but also for what you did not give.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah,
That's very true. So let me give you my final thoughts as we're
yeah,
closing. Uh, start making amends. That will be the end message of this conversation. Start making amends. For instance, some of you might be wondering, okay, but what if you can't find that lady? Are you gonna hold on to that resentment? No, because I'm gonna do my best. If I cannot find that woman, I need to forgive myself for
yeah.
what I've done. And it's not a type of forgiveness that means, oh, I'm going to forget about it. I'm not going to waste my time. Or it's not through that attitude. It's through the forgiving myself because now I understand the harm that I've done. And that doesn't free me from making amends. To the opposite, because my job will be trying to make amends with other people by
Mm,
and one of the ways to make amends is what we all three are doing right now here, helping others to better understand so they can make their own amends. So if you are stuck with someone that you may have not been able to ask for forgiveness because, as I've heard so many times, well, this person already died. What am I going to do? Well, start making amends. Forgive yourself in a good way and start making amends. Uh, that's my end message of today.
I want to add to that end message precisely the little story of this man that was with his horse and in a little cart carrying a big load in his back. He was carrying the big load here, and this is just my final words, agreeing with everything they're saying. He doesn't let go, and then suddenly there was a man watching him. That there was a big cart where he could kind of left all the load, and they told him, "Hey man, but what are you doing? Why are you carrying that load on your back? If there's so much that you can just leave it back there, and he will take it with you also, but you don't have to carry it with you." And then he suddenly said, "Well, I don't know, why am I carrying this all the time with me? So just leave your load there. You're going to take it with you. And whatever you need to solve, you're going to give it out. But it's like Francisco was saying, I'm not going to carry this with me all the time. If I really want to let go, put it on the back of the cart. God will help you guide it, and you will be uh, solving it in the best way possible. But take away this load of you. And yes, review your life with love, with care. And I really, really am very grateful for this time all of you have given us. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I want to thank every one of you for being here today. And here I go with the stick. Share this message with everyone because this is like Ana Cecilia said, sharing is caring. Don't keep us a secret. Share this message because there's so many people out there that may need this little time for them to realize, uh, not only that there's not such a thing as a life review in the way many people think, but is a life review on yourself and judging yourself, and about making amends. Share this message so everybody can have access to all this information that we're bringing forth to everyone. Okay, so that's my end message. Thank you for sharing time with us. And until next time, thank you all.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.